Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Truth or Demons podcast. I'm your host, Stevie, and today I have another interview for you. My second interview with author Jill Amadio, and this time she's going to tell us a little bit more about what it was like working with Ed and Lorraine Warren and writing for them in the newspaper in the 70s, and a little bit more about her experience with Annabelle. So, please enjoy. All right, I have a list of questions ready if you are ready for them.
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
Awesome. And also I have a handful of questions from the listeners if you're okay with that.
Oh, sure.
Okay, awesome. All right, so let's start off with, how did you meet the Warrens? Had you heard about them prior to meeting them?
No, I believe they called the newspaper I was working for, and I met them and talked with them and found their story intriguing.
Wow, that's so awesome. What was the first story they shared with you?
Oh, it was to a couple of roommates, students, female students who were sharing an apartment after they graduated. And one of them was given a Raggedy Ann doll by her mother in college, and she brought it to the apartment. And apparently something invaded this doll, and it started moving around all on its own.
Right.
So they called Lorraine and Ed Warren to come and see what was going on.
And so did you get to meet with them too, or did you just meet with the Warrens to talk about it?
No, I went to the apartment with the Warrens, and I saw the doll and listened to their story. And it turned out that one of the roommates had a boyfriend, and this apparently the doll did not like him. And he would wake up in the morning in his girlfriend's bed with scratches on his back. So the two roommates got very anxious.
I bet,
and
yeah.
called the Warrens. Yeah, exactly. So I went there with the Warrens and listened to the story and decided to write about it. And I asked the roommates if I could take the doll with me back to my newspaper so it could be photographed. So that's what I did. But I put the doll in the back seat of my car on the seat. And I'm driving along, and suddenly I see the doll's face in my rearview mirror. It turns out she had moved.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I ignored it and drove as fast as I could back to my office, and we photographed the doll. Yeah.
So, did you personally believe that something might be inhabiting the doll?
I didn't know what to believe, to tell you the truth. Since it had moved in my car, it gave me pause to think, gosh, maybe the story is absolutely truthful. But I was a little, not scared, but concerned. And I did take the doll back to the roommates and then went back to my office.
Very
and
good.
I didn't hear anything else again. So
wow.
Who knows?
So after that case, what was the next case you worked with the Warrens on? Do you remember?
We went to a house that the owner said was haunted, and we took pictures of the house and listened to the woman's story, who said that her cat seemed to be being pushed off the top step of her flight of stairs. And so the Warrens did their thing, whatever they do, talked to the, they talked, what they do is they stand in the middle of a room and kind of just talk to the room.
Yeah.
And ask the spirit, whatever, the ghost, to contact him. And if he feels something, he says it. And he tells the homeowner that she should get a priest in to do an exorcism.
I see.
And so that was that, yeah.
So in these moments, was it just Ed taking the lead, or was Lorraine at this time saying she was having psychic feelings too?
Lorraine was apparently the psychic.
Mm-hmm.
Ed was not.
Right.
So she would kind of talk to the ghost, the spirit, and Ed would kind of listen and then ask questions.
Okay.
And then Lorraine would repeat whatever answer she received.
Okay, I
if
got
she
you.
received any. And it didn't always work,
Okay.
so yeah.
So during
Yeah.
these moments, I know you were supposed to be impartial and not have an opinion at the time, but do you have one now about those, what they were doing and how they were trying to help people with their ghosts?
Well, they certainly were trying to help people. The Warrens were fascinated with the whole situation every time we came across one. And they felt that there was something there. I didn't know what to think, as I said, but I observed everything. And sometimes it was a little nerve-wracking.
I bet, yeah.
Yeah, but it was interesting.
Yeah. What was your favorite experience with the Warrens?
I think it was the one with the Raggedy Ann doll, because I personally observed that she had moved in my car.
Right.
And I didn't know what made her do that, or in the roommate's apartment, but that was the one. Yeah.
That's awesome. Now, do you possibly think, I am a bit of a skeptical mind, do you possibly think the movement could have been a natural movement from the car, and then just because of the story and the hype on it, it made you feel uneasy about how she moved?
It made me very nervous. And as I said, I drove back to the office as quickly as I could.
I don't blame you, considering the story.
Yeah, and I had the photographer come down to my car and take the doll himself.
That's awesome.
I didn't want to touch it. Yeah.
So, at this point, did the Warrens warn you about handling with her? Or did they warn you about handling her?
No, they didn't say anything. I wish they had.
That's interesting, because after they took the doll from the nurses, they warned everybody. They even have a sign, positively do not open, on her case.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, yeah. They were not at all skeptical of anything. They had very open minds. Mm-hmm. And they were willing to listen to everything. So that was the help. Even these roommates, for instance, seemed to get a little relief from telling the Warrens their story, that they were sharing it with someone, and perhaps someone could help them out.
Yeah, that makes sense. Do you think the Warrens really believed in what they were putting out, the stories and stuff they were sharing?
Oh, I do. Absolutely. 100%. Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, I read the notes you sent me, and I had a question for you. When being told things like some of the people one of the people you guys went to see, they tried to burn a Ouija board and it wouldn't burn. Did you get to see that, or were you just told that?
I went to the house with the Warrens when they first visited the woman with the Ouija board, and she told us her story. But it went on for a few weeks, because she showed us the Ouija board and told us what happened when she and her friends were using it. And then Ed said to her that she should burn it. So the following week, she tried to burn it, chopped it up with her husband's axe, and set fire to it with a few other things in the fire, and it wouldn't burn. The flames wouldn't touch it.
Wow. Did you see her Ouija board before or after she tried to burn it?
Oh, yes. No, I saw it as it was in one piece.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Very cool. All right. And
yeah, I didn't touch it.
I don't blame you. I would have been very wary about that too. So before I start my listener questions, I wanted to give you an opportunity to share anything that stood out in your memory about your experience with the Warrens. Any stories or times that you were with them that you remember really well or were taken aback by or anything like that?
Well, no, I think that Raggedy Ann one was the most, the greatest experience of all of them, because I personally saw the doll myself,
Right.
and I knew that it had moved in my car. I had put it on the floor in the back seat, and when I saw it in my rearview mirror, obviously it had moved onto the seat itself.
Wow.
And was looking at me.
That is very interesting.
Yeah, I know.
That's a big move. Wow.
Yeah.
So you're probably one of the only people I've ever heard tell a personal story about Annabelle, because after that she was encased and no one was ever allowed to be around her again.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, well, I just told what I knew, what I had seen and experienced. So then I wrote a story about it for the newspaper I worked for. Yeah.
And you felt that the nurses were being genuine with their story they told you too?
Absolutely, yes.
That's really cool.
Why would they lie?
Right.
You know?
So a lot of the speculation is, so today, in today's world, people have a hard time believing in Annabelle as a haunted doll because of the movies and the way the Warrens have been portrayed in those movies. So a lot of people have written her off completely as being haunted. So this is very interesting to hear from you.
Well, all I can tell you is what I experienced.
Right.
And what I went through. So that was it. Yeah.
That's a very cool experience.
When I also visited a bunch of haunted houses, as the homeowners claimed, with the Warrens, and I didn't hear anything or feel anything. I had no fears or anything. I just was, I'd sit at the edge of the room or something, and I didn't hear anything or see anything except the Warrens themselves talking in their way to the spirits.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were any of those situations scary, or was it just kind of curious?
To me, it was curious, since I didn't hear anything or see anything.
Right.
So initially I was pretty skeptical. And as I drove home with the Warrens, we would discuss the case. And they would tell me what they had heard or said. Well, I heard what they said, but they would, Lorraine would tell me what she had heard in her mind from the spirits or the ghosts.
And what did you think about that when she would share that?
Oh, well, I gave her the benefit of the doubt. I mean, why would she make it all up? I know it was sort of their business, and then later on, the Warrens had a television show of their own,
right,
where they had these hauntings. So, yeah, I just took it at face value.
That makes sense. I probably would have done the same.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
All right, I have my listener questions for you, and I wanted to preface this with the fact that the majority of my listeners feel a certain way about the Warrens and aren't their biggest fans. So a lot of these questions are kind of skeptical.
Okay. I don't blame them.
All right, so my first question is from Douglas, and he wants to know, did they claim to have a lot of documentation then? And if so, did they share any of it with you?
they didn't have, as far as I know, they didn't have any documentation. They had telephone calls from people like these roommates and owners who said their homes were haunted. But I didn't see anything in writing, no.
Right. No pictures, no recordings.
No, we took, my newspaper photographer took photographs of the houses that appeared in the stories that I wrote subsequently.
Okay.
But no, there were no documents from the Warrens.
Okay, awesome. All right, my next question is from Nicola, and she would like to know, do you think they were genuinely helping people with their hauntings? Also, do you think they negatively impacted anyone that they worked with?
I think they helped because they listened to the person concerned. And, when you can share your concerns with someone, it can help you. So I think they did help people. There were times, I think twice, when a priest did an exorcism at which I was not present.
Okay.
And I think they helped. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, and I agree with you on that because I've been reading some of the newspapers from back then, and there seems to be a progression of they were helping, and then fame kind of got to them, and it became more about a sensational story versus helping people. I think that's why people feel that way.
Yes, and I agree with you. I think that's perfectly natural to, to be the case because people do get overcome with fame sometimes.
Yes.
And then, take a different direction. So it wasn't long after that I was, I had a job at a magazine in California, so I moved out there.
Right. And did you do any more paranormal pieces after that?
I did one. I went to a church that I heard of in Bridgeport, Connecticut, that apparently people were fainting or something when the pastor laid his hands on them. So I went to that with a photographer, and the place was packed. And these people would go up to the altar, and it wasn't a Catholic place. The pastor would lay his hands on a person, and they'd drop to the floor.
Wow.
My photographer, a guy, became so scared he ran out of the church and didn't take any photos.
Oh my goodness.
I know. I mean, I was there making notes and I wrote it up, and but I had no photos to go with it.
Wow, that's interesting that he got that scared. Were you very frustrated?
Yes, hey, Frank, where are you going?
It's not that scary.
He just ran out of the church.
That's amazing.
Weird.
Yeah, he must have really felt something.
Maybe he did. Maybe he thought he would faint.
Yeah.
Or whatever, or collapse.
Yeah, a lot of people really just automatically fear that kind of thing and it doesn't sit right with them.
Well, I think it's catching.
I do too.
It's like the Salem witches, the Salem people who all became suddenly crazy.
Yeah, that mass hysteria and shared delusions.
Exactly. It's catching. Yeah.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know.
It's crazy how these stories evolve too over time.
It really is. When you look back, you don't know what to think still.
Yes, agreed. Yeah, my whole show is a big question.
Well, that's the interesting part of your show. You make people think and wonder and question. So that's good.
Thank you. I love that. I love that. I love doing that. That is my favorite part.
Good. Great. great show. It's a great show.
Thank
Yes.
you so much. Okay, I
Sure.
have just a couple more, I think, here. I have a few more.
Okay.
So from Linda, in your
Yeah.
opinion, did you find that Ed and Lorraine were equal partners in their work, or was Ed leading more and Lorraine just following along?
No, they were equal partners, because especially with Lorraine being the psychic, and Ed needed her.
Mm-hmm.
So they were, yeah, they were a very nice couple, actually.
I hear that
They
a
were
lot.
quite loving. Yeah, they were very, very nice. Yeah.
Well, that's great. Okay, that's good to know too. We've all wondered that in speculation and conversation if they were doing it together or if one of them was kind of leading the situation.
No, and they were very normal people to me, until we got into a house
Yeah.
haunted, and then I'd stay at the edge of the room against the wall.
And they do their thing. I love it. I would have been the same.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Okay, next question is from Chris of Believe This and Fear the Living podcast. He says, sometimes it can be painfully obvious to a watchful eye that someone is making up things as they go. Was there any sense of that at all with Ed or particularly Lorraine?
No, there really wasn't, because she sounded so sincere and genuine, and she seemed to surprise herself sometimes by what she said.
Oh, wow. That's really interesting.
So, yeah, exactly. And Ed treated everything she said with 100% believability. And I just made my own notes for my story, for the newspaper. So, yeah.
Okay. We already covered this next question a little bit, but I wanted to ask for the listener from Chelsea. She wanted to know, do you think the Warrens were truthful in their endeavors? Do you think they were in it for helping others or for themselves for money and notoriety?
I think initially they were there. I think they were fascinated by some of the requests that they received to go to a haunted house or something, or a haunted person's office or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think that their fame sort of overcame them a little bit. And they were very anxious that I go with them everywhere, which I couldn't possibly do. But I never saw their television show. Apparently there were many episodes, but I didn't see it because by then I was in California and they were still back here on the East Coast.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I give them the benefit of the doubt.
That's fair.
People are people.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And that's a very fair assessment, especially when it was so long ago, first of all, and then there were so many things happening after that, the initial when they started. So.
Right. You're quite right, Stevie. Yes.
All right. So another question we already briefly discussed, but I wanted to give this person a chance to ask. Mary Jane asks, do you think the Warrens believed in demons, possessions, ghosts, and apparitions 100%, or do you think they may have been a little out of their minds?
No. Maybe they persuaded themselves into believing. I don't know. I couldn't tell. But whenever we visited a homeowner or someone else who said they were being haunted, they listened very respectfully and seriously. So I do think that they absolutely believed what they were being told. And as I said, I think the person that was talking to them about being haunted or having a spirit visit, they benefited from the Warrens visiting them, and listening.
Very cool. Alrighty, it looks like I have one more question here from Roger. He would like to know, do you think Ed would be as well received today if he was approaching reporters to write these stories in the same way he did then?
Yes, actually, I think it would be more sensationalized today.
I have to agree with that.
Because, I mean, people are talking about UFOs and this and that. And yeah, I think people would be more accepting today. So,
I agree with that, yeah. And I wanted to, this one last question, Mystic Mima, we already discussed this, but I wanted to ask for her too. She is a listener on my YouTube, and she would like to ask, do you think that the Warrens helped anyone with their work?
Yes, I do, because they would bring in a priest a couple of times I know of. They brought in a priest to do an exorcism. I wasn't in attendance, but they told me about it afterwards. Of course, the priests weren't able to talk to me about it, but the Warrens described what happened.
Okay. Why do you think the priests weren't allowed to talk to you? Because of the clergy or because...
Well, it's like the confessional where,
Oh, that makes
private.
sense. Okay.
Just privacy.
That makes sense. All right.
Respecting the people.
Yeah. And that's, I like that. I like that there was that respect for the privacy.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, agreed.
I am out of questions, but do you have anything else you'd like to share about your time working with the Warrens and anything you experienced? Or do you have any paranormal experiences of your own outside of the Warrens?
No, I do not. Thank goodness. I've never experienced anything like the Warrens did. But no, I really enjoyed working with them because it was such a different story for me. Mm-hmm. So, for a newspaper. And but then I moved on to writing about other subjects. I couldn't stay with them all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they got publicity in magazines, etc., because they did become famous. Mm-hmm. And their television show was good for them. So, yeah.
Do you remember, was that the show that was called Ghost Hunters?
I don't know because I wasn't here then.
Okay. I read it briefly in the paper, but I don't know. It was said that was the name they were deciding on. I don't know if it was ever finalized.
Probably. It fits perfectly.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, Ghost Hunters. Yeah, that's what they were.
Yeah. Okay, so
it probably was.
Yeah, that would make sense. And I found it interesting that, so I've been reading the paper starting back as far as I can and reading articles about them and then working my way up to kind of establish a timeline of their experiences and their work.
Good for you.
It's so fun.
Research.
I love it. It's a lot of fun. And I have
one
final question for you that I just thought of that I thought would wrap this up pretty well. If you were approached again today to go to the Warrens Museum and see Annabelle again, would you?
Yes, definitely. I would love to do that.
That is awesome.
Yeah, it would. I'm really glad there is a museum and that people could go there and look at the different artifacts. Yeah, I would definitely go there. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Alrighty, that is it for my questions, and I cannot thank you enough for coming on the show again. It is awesome having you on and asking you all these questions and learning. I'm so excited.
Oh, Stevie, it's very wonderful of you to have invited me, and I've thoroughly enjoyed helping to remember what the Warrens were up to.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much to Jill for coming on for a second interview and diving a little deeper into her memory for more moments with the Warrens. I hope you guys enjoyed this interview. I can't thank Jill enough for returning to the show to share more with us about her work with the Warrens. Also, please check out the description and the show notes for a list of Jill's books. If you enjoyed the interview, please hit that like and subscribe button and check out some of my other interviews here. Until next time.